Okay, so quick video for today. We are going to be reviewing a book. Part of this kind of journey into internet theology that I've been doing with these short videos is a desire to kind of understand what the theology of the current space is. Who's writing about this? Like I attempted to write about this. Who has written about this in the past, and pretty far back too, because I think there's some foundations here that aren't getting recognized that we have to understand about how we understand media, including the internet, because the internet is kind of inextricably tied to media in certain ways. And so part of what I want to do is examine the literature. I've got a list of about 12 to kind of 20 books, depending on how you look at it. Some of them are old. I think the oldest one is Understanding Media by like Marshall McLuhan. He would be the guy who's famous for saying the medium is the message, and really kind of set some foundations about what media is and how to understand it. He probably didn't understand what the internet was going to be, or that the internet was even going to be a thing, but it laid a philosophical background. And so in reading this literature, I wanted to pick books that were in the space, and one of the most popular books at the time right now is Metachurch by Dave Adamson. This book, I don't know how to describe it. It was one of the most frustratingly positive reads I've had in a long time. Normally when I engage with a book, it's I don't know how to describe it. It's really frustrating. When I normally engage with a book, I'm looking to kind of extract the information that it's trying to provide the reader. Like, what is it trying to say in its bare bones? What are the major ideas sticking out? And then I put it on a bunch of note cards. It goes into my commonplace book. It gets digested that way. This book came out of left field because half of it is some of the best, and I really do mean best, practical, loving church-based advice for how to approach technology as like churches trying to do mission. It is some of the best stuff I've ever read, between like articles, better than any video out there. Like Dave absolutely nails it. You can see he has a heart for churches to really be engaged in this way. He can see the fruit that's possible through this avenue of technology, and he goes headfirst in, and the practicality of this book is amazing. But it's mixed with a really it's an unmatched theology. Like the theological and philosophical underpinnings are unnecessary for at least half, probably more like 75-80% of the practical things that he talks about. It's a weird, like I found myself really frustrated with the theological and philosophical arguments that Dave made, and then like really impressed and loving the amount of detail and work and explanation and everything that he does on a practical side. And so it became this dichotomy of a book, this like love-hate relationship with every other page. And I don't think I've ever read a book like this before. I've read theological books I disagree with. I've read philosophical books I disagree with, and it's like clear from the get-go that A leads to B leads to C, that kind of stuff. They set this stuff up, and even when there's church books, you can see that there's a connection between their theology and their what they're trying to teach practically. There's like through lines. You can see that it leads to one thing. And it's weird that the philosophical and theological underpinnings of this book, how it treats the internet like a place, not a thing, and how it works that out. It's not needed for the practicality and the practical lessons of this book. So it's really frustrating. I really, really like it though. Like aside from all that, like Dave did a great job. I'm going to be recommending this to anybody who's talking about online ministry, or is wanting to start online ministry, or you just want to start a YouTube channel. This book is fantastic. But like the first couple chapters where he's trying to explain his why, if you want to kind of boil it down to that, none of that seems to apply. Like I can disagree with it, and I've disagreed with a lot of the kind of assumptions in it, but especially around the whole kind of like internet as a place, not a thing. I went into the book knowing that this was going to present the internet as a place and it was going to make those assumptions. But what I found was that, in the steps of like how to turn a sermon into multiple pieces of content and why you want to do that in a certain way, compared to just, chopping it up arbitrarily, why you want to use SEO because you're trying to be intentional online, all that kind of stuff does not require the internet to be a place. It can, this whole book on the practical side could work with the internet being a thing and a proper theology of, of recognizing what the internet is, so that we're not kind of betraying the fact that instead of gathering in a place, we're interacting with a thing. This is all the practical stuff in this, I'm sure, could work in one way or another with that, but it's mingled with that. So it becomes this really awesome, frustrating book. And I, as a guy who likes to read and engage with tough ideas, I absolutely loved it. I don't know how to explain that any better. I know that's probably like, I sound crazy right now for saying that, but I absolutely love this book because it made me think in all the ways that I had to engage the practical side through the philosophical side and see that they didn't work and see that they could work. It made me think that way. And Dave does an amazing job at explaining how the church can use tech. I just don't think his theology's there. So yeah, that's a quick review on it. I might do a longer review on my website and stuff like that. But I did want to recommend this book, even just for people to be able to engage the ideas like I did, and to see the massive amount of work that he put into this to help churches be more effective online. His heart bleeds through these pages, and it's amazing. And so I definitely recommend it. Go get yourself a copy. Support the author. I think it's self-published. I don't know. It's through Amazon. I probably should have checked that first. It's through Rethink Group, published by Orange. So maybe it's not self-published, but it's through Amazon. So I believe it's like print on demand or something like that. But amazing. Definitely go pick this up.